Hello friends, welcome to Take Two for this Wednesday, the 6th of November, 2019. I'm Jeannie. So glad you decided to come along for the ride today. Well, I like to talk to you a little bit about specialness. I know it's probably not really a word, but every one of us is special in one way or another. We're different from each other. We have different personality traits. Even if we're born from the same mother and father, even if we're raised in exactly the same situation, we all have our own little special little things. Like take, for example, two of my favorite people in the entire world, Thomas and Jimmy. Now, these are my beautiful, precious little great nephews. I adore them. Now, they are very much alike in ways because they have the same mom and dad, and they both enjoy being in each other's company. They love one another dearly. Big brother Jimmy just absolutely adores Thomas. He is so proud to be the big brother. He sits and reads to him, and he's trying to teach him things and explain things to him and all that. And Thomas just loves being around big brother. Now, that's one way that they're the same, but in fact, they are so different in so many ways too. And when you compare the way Thomas is as a 1.5-year-old compared to the way Jimmy was as a 1.5-year-old, in many ways they're very, very different. For example, Jimmy was always very persnickety about not like having dirty hands or being muddy or dirty. Now that he gets that from his Aunt Jeannie. I wash my hands several times a day. I like to have clean hands, especially if I'm going to wipe my eye or put something in my mouth. I want to be sure that my hands are clean. That's very important to me. And it's always been important to Jimmy. I remember when my sister, his grandmother, would be helping him do something like a craft where he had paint, or if he was helping Graham cook in the kitchen and would get sticky stuff on his hand, he'd say, "Graham, will you wash my hands?" Because he didn't like being sticky and dirty. Now, Thomas, on the other hand, is a whole different situation. My sister and I had to laugh when she was recounting the story that her daughter told her about taking Thomas to the mall food court, and they were all eating, and Thomas decided that this would be a good time to take his lunch and not only put some in his mouth, but also put some on his face, like decoratively, and in his hair, just to see how it would work. And the same thing happened at home. She had some macaroni and cheese for him, and he always wants to have a little spork in his hand, the little spoon fork thing, the child's, training them to use silverware. And he had his little spork in his hand because he wants to use his spork, and he'll start with it, but inevitably he'll just end up holding it and eating with his hand. He's 1 year old. This is what 1-year-olds do. But then he decided, well, macaroni and cheese, ooh, this has a nice consistency. I think it'll go nicely on my face and in my eyes and in my hair. Specialness. Let me tell you, you'd never catch Jimmy doing a thing like that ever. But Thomas, that's kind of like his little speciality, putting food in his face and hair. Oh my goodness. You gotta laugh because it's just too precious for words. He's discovering things, textures and tastes and things like that. Eventually, I'm sure he will grow out of it and not want to do that anymore. But here's the thing. His little specialness is he's not bothered with things like that. And and Jimmy's specialness is that he wants to be neat and tidy. I'll bet you the time will come where we can compare about putting away toys and things like that, which was never a problem for Jimmy. If you ask him to, he would. But I don't know about Thomas. If he's going to be that way or not, we'll soon find out as time goes by. But isn't it something how we're all special in one way or another? We all have our little specialness. And you know why? Because the Bible reminds us that we are all each fearfully and wonderfully made. Every single one of us, even though we could be related to people, even though we could be from the same parents, even though we could be in entirely the same environment, we all have our own special ways about us. There are no two snowflakes alike. There are no two stars alike. There are no two raindrops alike. There are no two rocks alike. Guess what? There are no two people alike. Even identical twins have something different about one to the other. They're not exactly. They're closer than maybe other siblings, but Everybody is special. So remind yourself of that. If you think that maybe you don't have a special skill or you don't have a special way about you or something that sets you apart, stop and think about ways that you might be special. And hopefully it's all in a good way. And then if that special gift or talent or skill, if it needs to be honed in and needs to be put in its right perspective and done correctly, make sure you do that. And you know why? Because then you can go out and be a blessing to somebody. Today, maybe. You know what? If you do, you may end up being the only one who is. Now listen, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jeanne Sigler, JeanneSigler. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. You will be notified every time I post another Take Two. All right, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow for Thursday's edition of Take Two. Love you all very much. God bless. And remember these two. They're different as night and day, but guess what? Ooh, I love them both. Okay, bye-bye.